Hey, what's up everybody? This is Osterberg501 and today I want to go over the absolute best scrap farm in Outriders. Now before we get into the video, less than 5% of people that watch my videos are subscribed to my channel. So make sure to subscribe if you want to keep up with all of my uploads. Now scrap is the main vendor resource you're going to be using in Outriders. It's used for every vendor except one endgame vendor. So you're going to be able to buy different items, even epic items up to level 50 once you get up to that point, and then you will be able to buy some very important resources as well. And I will elaborate a little bit more on that in future videos because there are some specific things you can do to get some very valuable resources, with this farm being the base. So a little bit of information on how this works. In Outriders, the absolute best way to get scrap is to sell weapons and armor to any of the game's vendors, and every item sold will give you a chunk of scrap. Now, the level of the item determines how much scrap you're going to get. So say if you have two epic weapons, they're the exact same things. One is level 28 and one is level 42, which are the world tier levels for the main campaign. The 42 one will be worth a lot more than the level 28 one. The scaling on how much you get is actually pretty steep. So even 1 or 2 levels on a singular item you're selling is going to get you a lot more scrap. So unless you're incredibly well geared, you're already at challenge tier 15 and doing the hardest of the hard endgame with super good gear, the best thing you're going to be able to do is to find a decent difficulty point where it's still going to give you high level items, but it's easy enough for you to do to farm very quickly. So I think doing world tier 15 in the main campaign is a very good middle ground to farm for scrap. And the specific farm I am doing, which I'm going to go over in this video, gives me around 600,000 scrap in an hour. And in this hour of farming, you're going to completely fill up your inventory, and then a bunch of other items are going to be sent to your stash by auto looting, and these are all going to be level 42 items. And this is the best spot I have found for doing a farm like this. If you have any other really good farms you like to do, you can do those just as well. Essentially, I'd recommend just being decently geared, doing it at world tier 15, and just farming as many items as you possibly can. Now, the specific thing that I am farming to get this 600,000 scrap an hour is one of the main campaign missions. So you're going to go to the main campaign chapter called Trench Town, and you're going to go to the main campaign checkpoint called Push Back the Insurgents in No Man's Land. And I've gone over this in a separate farm. It's still an incredibly good farm and very, very good for farming scrap. And essentially what this takes you to is a big open battlefield where you fight up a hill and through trenches, fighting off waves and waves of enemies. And what's really good is there are a ton of elite enemies that you're fighting through here that all have at least one guaranteed drop. They almost always will drop 2 items, and that can be up to legendary items. They have a really good chance of dropping epics as well at world tier 15. Then you're also facing a ton of breachers. Majority of the enemies you're going to be facing are going to be breachers, the armored shotgun guys, and those definitely seem to have a higher chance to drop items than just normal grunts. So what you're going to do is you're going to have it on world tier 15, you're going to go to the checkpoint, you're going to fight all the way up the hill, you're going to be killing all the breachers, all the elites, and the vast majority of the other grunts and enemies. And you're going to leave a few enemies alive, say like 2 or 3 grunts. You can leave 1, but once you're this high geared, it'll actually take them sometimes up to like 30 seconds to kill you. I usually leave a few enemies alive so they can kill me after I get done killing everything else, and this will respawn you back at the start of this checkpoint, and all of the enemies will be respawned, and you just keep doing that. And since you're at world tier 15, you can't actually lose any XP, you can't lose any world tiers from dying, so you have no loss from just letting yourself die, so it auto loads you back and respawns all of the enemies. And that is essentially all you do for this farm. You can also change up your build a little bit. It's very easy to change up your build in this game to add a little bit more AoE possibilities. And if you're playing a Devastator, I definitely recommend doing something with bullet reflect, because all of these enemies are enemies that are shooting, so you can reflect inflict a lot of damage in this big open battlefield. So just a quick TLDR, you're going to be setting the game to World Tier 15. You're going to be going to the Trench Town main campaign chapter. You're going to go to the checkpoint called Push Back the Insurgents in No Man's Land. You're going to keep farming this, letting a few enemies live once you're done killing everything else so they can kill you, which will reload you back. Then you rinse and repeat, constantly killing those enemies. And then all those items you're going to be getting from all of these enemies, you're going to sell them all to a vendor, which will net you around 600,000 scrap per hour, give or take, depending on how fast you can kill the enemies. So subscribe if you want to see more Outriders or other videos. Leave a like if you liked the video. Leave a comment down below what you guys think about this farm, and thanks for watching.